Let's take you on a quick walk around the interface. Let's open the Chapter 4 Guided Tour example. Melodyne offers two main windows: the Arrange window, in which the tracks are displayed in a manner similar to that of an audio sequencer, and the Editor. We will get to the Editor shortly. This is where we do our pitch-related editing. Right now, we are looking at the arrangement view. We have our tracks on the left. Each track has a title field, solo, mute, and record enable switches, as well as a mono stereo indicator. The drums, as you can see, are in stereo, and the bass is in mono. In the track display, we arrange our tracks by picking them up and rearranging them. To control the playback, we have Melodyne's transport bar. If you don't see it, go to the window menu and select transport bar. We will fully explain the transport bar in its own video. The quantization grid switch. This activates or deactivates the quantized grid, which is used when fixing time. We can select the quantize factor and size of the grid here too. More on this later. If you'd like to go in for a closer look, use the zoom buttons to zoom in and out. The best way to zoom is to hold down Alt and Command on the Mac or Control and Alt on the PC and use the pointer. You can move the mouse accordingly or use the scroll wheel on your mouse. You can also resize the tracks. To scroll, use the scroll bars. The time ruler gives us a time reference for audio operations. We can view the time in bars and beats or seconds. What format the time ruler displays is dependent on what you have selected in the quantization pull-down. The notation button puts musical notes over the audio waves on the tracks to show you the pitch of each piece of audio. That's the arrangement view. Now let's have a look at the editor. Double-click either on some empty space or on the audio on a track that brings you into the editor. This is where we actually do editing to the notes. Up here at the top, we have the tools. Now don't worry, we will fully explain the tools in the sections on editing audio. Much like in the arrangement view, we have the musical notation of the pitches below. We can show or hide this using the button here. The pieces of audio that represent the pitches in this screen are called blobs. Blobs are far more than just normal pieces of digital audio, as you might have guessed by the unusual squiggly lines on top of them. There are a considerable number of operations that can be done to them, and we'll show you all of them throughout the course of this DVD. Also notice that the blobs sit on the grid, which is shaded like a piano. That's another way of knowing which note a blob sits on. Notice that the editor display plots time from left to right and pitch up and down. Down at the bottom, we have the Scale Snap button. When the Scale Snap is selected, the blobs snap to the nearest notes on the selected scale. Just click on the tonic to select the scale and hit Shift to toggle between major and minor. This may sound a little complicated right now, but you'll see why it's so important later. As with the arrangement view, use the zoom buttons to zoom in and out. Hold down Alt and Command on the Mac or Control and Alt on the PC and use the pointer. To scroll, use the scroll bars. Once again, we have the quantization grid switches, which we can use to choose the grid size and resolution. The Track Select pull-down menu lets us choose which track we want to be shown in the editor. The Play mode. We can choose whether we want to have only the track we are currently viewing play back or the entire arrangement. Selecting this will show our drums too. Now both parts are visible. Whichever part is highlighted in red has editing focus. If it gets a little too confusing, let's remove the drums so we only see the bass again. Now let's explain this pull-down menu. Hit play on the transport. Choose Play Selected. Now bring in our drums. Because the drums are in red, it only plays the track that is selected. Now select the bass. Since both tracks are visible, select Play Visible. And we hear both of them play now. We could remove the drums from this editor. Since the only thing visible right now is the bass, that's all we hear. If you only want to see the bass, but you want to hear the rest of the instruments in the mix, pick Play Arrangement. Up here, we have the locators. These are used for looping and other transport-related functions. More on these in our transport video. The arrangement view and the editor can look different depending on which view settings we have selected. Let's go to our view menu to go over the different options. First off, you can choose Show Play Algorithm Parameters. We will cover algorithms in our audio editing section. Next, we have Show Audio to MIDI Parameters. We will cover these in our video on MIDI. If you uncheck Show Pitch Notation on the selected track, notice that the staff disappears from the musical notation and only shows the timing. Sometimes when we're editing, we just want to see where the blobs land timing-wise. Showing the additional pitch information makes things look a little messy and complicated. This feature cleans it up. Just like using the Score button, unchecking Show Score Notes gets rid of the musical notation altogether. That concludes our guided tour. In the videos to come, we'll go into even more depth in these areas.